How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Geordie geek. Welcome back to the channel for another comic book related show. And in this show, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to be looking at the comic books that came out last week and a couple that came out the week before. And hopefully that way we've given you guys a bit of a chance to read some of the books and contribute in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the books, which is kind of always what I want to hear. My team's involvement. So please do think about dropping a like in the a comment about the books that you've read recently. Okay, now also tonight what we're going to be doing is giving away some free comic books. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But we've got a new kind of giveaway tool which I'm going to be using, which I've nicked off Rob's Fat Stacks. So we'll show you that later on and we'll give away some comics. Before we do that, as ever, I just want to quickly run through some of the stuff that I've got coming up on the channel, just to give people a chance to kind of get onto the live show. So as ever, this is me, Triple G. Yeah, that rhymed, I like that. Here are my links. If anybody wants to check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, all that kind of malarkey, or drop us an email, you can do at the links there. Okay, so couple of videos on my channel at the moment that you may wish to have a look at. I've got 2 CGC unboxing videos out at the moment. I've sent around 20 books, I think it is, to CGC, all minor keys, modern keys and things like that. So please do check those out if you like CGC books and you like seeing a grown man get excited about grading. Oh, Battle Cat, it's lush. So I've also put my video out about my Mondo Battle Cat 1/6 scale figure. It's a bloody beast. It's huge. I'm very worried it's not going to stand on my shelving, my glass shelves. I think it'll crack. So I'm going to have a bit of a play with that. But if you like Mondo, if you like 1/6 scale figures, have a look-see. Next video, Do I Need It? This is on the back of a few shows we've done where we've been looking at the Super 7 Cat's Lair, and my good friend Fuzzy of the Dunlop sending us images of thunder tanks and all this kind of jazz. Yeah, have a watch of that video. See if I decided to go for the £735, Jesus, big chunk of plastic. I think you probably know the answer. I've also put this video out recently, How to Store Graded Comic Books, where I talk about the different kind of boxes that you can use to store your graded comics. And I show you my Architect drawers, which I appreciate not everybody will have or use, but I quite like them to display my comics. So again, check that one out. Today's vid, selling comics. So the CGC books I've just talked about, I've done a bit of a spreadsheet where I've very roughly, before people shout at us and say, oh, it's not the exact price and all the rest of it, where I very roughly kind of had a look at how much I bought the book for, how much it cost us to get it pressed and cleaned, how much it cost us to get graded, and then what the current value is. And I work out basically whether I've made or lost money with the books I've just sent off, if I was to sell them. Coming soon, more about the MCU. It's not really a moan, but it's worth watching. That'll be out in the next few days. This is me just talking about the current state of the MCU and what I think of it. And then we've got a couple of comic book unboxings for you. Finally, live shows. Check out last week's live show where we talked a little bit about Ghosts and Goblins, which was a lot of fun. Monday, we did our Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2. As you can imagine, we talked a hell of a lot about Winter Soldier because it's tremendous. Tomorrow night, I've got This Is My with Rob Fat Stacks. And then on Monday, we've got our Geeky Art Attack, where we're looking at the X-Men, and we've got a guest artist coming on that, a bona fide comic book artist. So that's going to be quite exciting. There's a slide at the end of the show, but I'll mention it now. Directly after this show, head over straight onto the Attention Seeking Geeks channel, because we're going to be going live and talking a little bit about Halloween and monsters and ghoulies and all that kind of jazz. So that should be marvelous as well. Okay, before we crack on with the comics, let's just have a quick look in the chat. We've got 15 people watching. Thank you very much, everybody. Please do hit that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. We've got StreamYard. Thank you for joining. We've got good old Fuzzy. Nice to see you, my friend. We've got Efren from Past Point Comics. Did a live show with Efren last night. Please go check that out on his channel. It was tremendous. We've got my pal Deadman. Thank you for joining. And we've got JP. Congratulations on your recent success, JP. We've got Chris from Off My Shelves. Always nice to see you, Chris. Let's have a look. I feel it's you that need extra time more than us. Yeah, you're probably right. Oh, we've got Noble Young. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate you coming. And we've got Andy from Perpetual Comics. Oi, oi. Lovely to see you, Andy. For those of you that haven't checked out, please do go and check out the Killer Comic Show from last night. Very sad that Andy is going to be taking a bit of a leave from the show for a bit of a time. But wish you the very best of luck, Andy. And I think it goes without saying that your contribution to the Killer Comic Show and the comic community in general cannot be understated. You're an absolute star and certainly have got me into indie books. So a massive, massive thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's talk comic books. Like I said, we started off doing this show a couple of weeks back and we were focusing on the comics that had been put out that particular week. I very quickly realized that I just didn't have time to read them all. So what we decided to do instead is look at the previous week's books. And I will be joined on the channel by various people as time goes on. Hopefully Andy, probably Phil from Phil's Nerdyverse, and Charlie, and anybody else that wants to jump on and talk comic books. So I'm going to start with a book that's a couple of weeks old now, but I need to talk about it because it's probably the best thing I've ever read. And that is Something Epic by you know what I'm like. I do apologize if I pronounce his name wrong, but I think it's Szymon Kudranski. But Szymon is absolutely stunning. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I'm interested in the chat. If you guys want to jump in on this, I wasn't aware of Szymon's work before Something Epic. I know he's had a long career in the comics industry, but I don't know why he's completely missed me by, and I don't know why. So, yeah, phenomenal artist. I am absolutely loving Something Epic. This is a story about a young lad who basically can well, he can see people's imaginations. So as you dream up a character in your mind, he can see it in the world around you. I'm not going to spoil the book because it really is a book I think everybody needs to go away and read. But what that means is you've got this absolutely beautiful story about a young lad, and he grows up and gets a bit older, and the way he's interacting with these imaginary things. You get a stunning story about loss in terms of the loss of his mother. But because we're talking imagination, you get this phenomenal kind of blend of artwork. So you get stunning imagery, beautifully painted images, and then you get kind of like a really cartoon character on the same panel. It looks amazing. This issue for me had it all again. It's a real interesting read. We'll learn a little bit more about his power set. Like I say, by this stage in the book, issue 4, he's grown up a little bit, and he's kind of become involved in some conflict with another character. In this issue, he's kind of rescued by a guy who we've seen hanging around for a couple of issues, really, and he takes him on a journey to find out a little bit more about his powers. This last page here is stunning. This is where he explains that all of the kind of the half thought of and the kind of ignored dreams and imaginations are, and it's just spectacular. There are some stunning images in this book. This image on the far side there of the werewolf and the vampire and Frankenstein, you know I like my artwork. If I could ever find a way of picking this up, that's definitely a one I would want. It's a stunning bit of work. I just love everything about it, the color work and everything. Now, the thing with this book, though, for me, is you can very much get lost, I think, just in the artwork itself. And I could spend all night talking about how much I love the artwork. But the writing is equally on par. It's probably one of the most touching and interesting books I've ever read in terms of just being a really fresh and interesting idea. I don't think I've ever read anything like this, where you've got, I mean, look at that image there. You've got flying cars, a beautiful painted scene, and you've got a flying duck in the middle of it. You know, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. So yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. And also in this issue, we'll get this amazing image of image. See what I did? Of some of the image characters, which again, it's just breathtaking. Now, I did ask if anybody else wanted to chip in with their favorite issues, and we got this from good old Fuzzy. Something Epic. I'm still invested. I'm still intrigued. Heart, depth, feel, nostalgia. The art has never disappointed in each issue, and the big splash of the past Image characters really made me smile. I can't wait for the next issue in 2 weeks' time. But more importantly, I can't wait to read more from Simon. He's converted me. I'm a fan for life. Absolutely, Fuzzy. I'm completely with you there. Now, the thing is as well, for Simon, I hope I am pronouncing his name right there. I dropped him a little message after I had a bit of a chat with Fuzzy actually earlier in the week, and Simon has said that he would love to be interviewed. So hopefully we might get him on this show or another show. I might try and get him to do a This Is My, and we can talk to him all about this book because it is phenomenal. Okay, just quickly jump to the chat before we move on. Fuzzy, now we're talking best book of the year. Yeah, I mean, I think I was speaking to you, Fuzzy, earlier in the week. I would love this in a hardback, a nice oversized hardback, just so you can drink in that artwork and the stunning imagery. All you knew of his work was Spawn. Yeah, I don't know if he's wrote much. I don't know if this is his first writing out. I don't know. He's tremendous, but tremendous. Andy, Bloody Commandment 1 coming out in November. Not heard of that one, Andy. Not heard of that one. That sounds interesting. Deadman, only up to issue 3, enjoying it so far. Good stuff, Terry. I think it is worth saying that this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, because it's a book that you have to read. Do you know what I mean? You don't just flick through the pages. I think to enjoy the story, it sounds stupid to say, but to enjoy the story, you've really got to spend some time sitting reading it. You can't just flick through this book. Fuzzy, I read it and then go back and take in the art. I almost read it in 2, but yeah, I'm probably the same, Fuzzy. And like I say, I'm really looking forward to getting it in a hardback so I can just sit and drink it all in. Yeah, stunning book, and I think you might be right. Probably read of the year, I think. Okay. Oh, this is another one. This is cool. This is from Image. This wasn't on my radar at all until Fuzzy mentioned it, I think, in a group chat thing or on Instagram. So I went back and had a read of it. This was bloody brilliant. Not what I expected at all. The artwork in this is phenomenal. This starts off with that splash page kind of thing, as you've seen there, with creatures on a beach, which I presume is an invasion of some kind. But then we'll go back in time and we're introduced to the characters, a group of friends. Each one of them's got a bit of an interesting backstory. There's definitely something going on about a missing sibling. They go off late at night to film something. I think they're doing like a own movie kind of thing, and they stumble upon this cave. And when they go through the cave, there's like this fantasy land behind it. And one of the characters thinks that this is where this missing character is. I was absolutely invested in this. The artwork is beautiful. It's definitely a one I will be continuing to read. GP, just saying there, this looks good and I enjoy Kelly Thompson's writing. Yeah, well, this is a great one, GP. It's well worth picking up and reading. Next, what we'll go, fucking hell, here we'll go. Okay, so those of you that have been watching this show for a little while will know that myself and the guys have been forcing ourselves to read some of these DC Night Terrors books. I think we're on week 4 or 5 now, something along those lines. I've read every issue as we've gone on. I'm going to be honest, I got to this week's reading. I've read the first issues of all of these 6 books, and I just thought, you know what, I cannot be arsed. So I've flicked through them a little. I didn't have the strength or the will to read them. So if anybody has read any of the tie-ins, please let us know if they are any good. But I just can't do it anymore, DC. You've killed us. I cannot do any more tie-ins to Night Terrors because pretty much most of them are crap. The only one that I really quite enjoyed was the Shazam one, issue 1. I went and I did have a better look at Shazam issue 2, and it's just not for me, I'm afraid. I did read Night Terrors issue 4. It continues to be quite interesting. You get a little bit more backstory about the main kind of antagonist. It ends with basically all of the nightmares and the creatures we've seen in the individual tie-ins being brought into the real world. I can't say I can't say it's a mini series that I would rush to pick up. I certainly don't recommend reading all of the tie-ins. I think if you're going to read it, read the main title only. Jumping into the chat, Andy left the Killer Comics because of the effect Night Terrors had on me. Absolutely, mate. That's, oh god, it's awful. Night Terrors, not Killer Comics. JP, I did enjoy Detective Comics 1. Yeah, so did I. That was the one with Jim Gordon, wasn't it? And he started to break away. I might go back and reread Detective Comics 2 at some point if I can summon the will and there's literally nothing else happening in my life. So yeah, we'll see. Fuzzy, imagine the poor sods who have bought all of these Night Terror books. Yeah. Do you know, the only thing is some of the Night Terror's covers, particularly the variant covers, were absolutely phenomenal. It's just a shame the story didn't really kind of meet it. Oh, we've got Phil. Nice to see you, Phil. I haven't told anyone this, but I'm not doing this show in protest. No more Night Terrors. It's the wrong week to do that, Phil, because I've not read any this week, mate. We've binned it. We've binned it. Pass points. Efren, I was so looking forward to Night Terrors. I'm just going to read the main title. You saved me from reading the rest of the titles. Yeah, I really couldn't recommend it, Efren. I really couldn't. If you like Dead Man, the main title is pretty good because it's very much Dead Man centered. But yeah, it's not a one I would rush to read. It's getting worse. Realm of X, another one of the multitude of X titles. You'll know that the X titles have kind of had a bit of a relaunch recently after the Hellfire Gala. It's kind of done a bit of a reset in terms of lots of mutants being killed and things like that. A lot of them were sent through the doorways from Krakoa at the end and have ended up in different areas. Now, this book, Realm of X, should be right up my street. It's set in a kind of one of the offshoots from Asgard on the World Tree. It's got some of my favourite characters in: Magik, Danny Moonstone, can't remember, Typhoid Mary, all that kind of stuff. But this is just awful. The artwork is not my cup of tea. The story did nothing for us. It just felt very, very by the numbers, which was really disappointing. Love that cover. Love the image of Magik. But yeah, it's not a one I will be reading forward on because it just didn't float me boat at all, I'm afraid. Next, what we got? More X-Men. Jean Grey. So this picks up where Jean Grey has been shot during the Hellfire Gala and she's lying dying. And our mind kind of casts back to what can she do or what can she put in place to try and stop this all from happening. And you get this lovely splash page. I have to say, I love that image of all the different variations and things. And then we'll jump into kind of, do you remember the teen X-Men that, I think it was it wasn't Grant Morrison, I can't remember, the teen X-Men who came from the past and were in the future for a period of time and then went back to the past. And you jump to her version of Jean Grey, I think her mind in that body, and you get this kind of alternate tale on what would happen if Jean Grey went a little bit mental and started wiping people's minds and killing the other X-Men and wiping them all out and then becoming the Phoenix and things like that. By the end of the issue, it resets and she has another little dream, which is going to be the next issue about what if she did this. Didn't help for us, I have to say. Probably because I'm not familiar enough with the young X-Men that came and went and all that kind of jazz. Didn't do much for us at all, I'm afraid. Right, just quickly jump back to the chat. Fuzzy, not rich enough to buy all the Night Terrors. Don't worry about it, Fuzzy. You'll be able to get them in like the 10 pence bins before long, I'm pretty sure. Phil, I'm massively behind my weekly comics reading. Still need to read the last few issues of Daredevil. Didn't talk about it on this show, mate, but the last issue of Daredevil I really, really enjoyed. I thought it tied off that entire run nicely, and then it ended on, you know, the next kind of step in Daredevil's journey, I suppose you could say. Not sure how I feel about that, because actually it would have been a real nice just end to the character. I know it's never going to happen because we need more Daredevil, but you'll see when you read it, it was a nice kind of fitting end for Matt Murdock, I think. Andy, Peter reads them so we don't have to. Not only must wear capes. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I wonder if Night Terrors reads better all in one, like an omnibus. No, Phil, it doesn't. It's shit. No, Andy, you see, we're the same mind, mate. We're the same mind. Fuzzy, I've heard good things from X-Men fans, but maybe you need to be a diehard fan to appreciate it. I'm not, unfortunately. You know what, Fuzzy? I think that's probably a good point, because as a standalone story, kind of a what if, it was okay. It was Jean misusing her powers, you know, going a bit rogue and then becoming the Phoenix. So I quite liked that element of it. But I didn't understand enough about the kind of our mind jumping into different pasts and things. It was just a bit weird. I will read the next issue, mind, I have to say. Phil, Peter has a few capes. I've got loads of them. Loads, mate. Loads. Wardrobe full. Okay. Immortal Thor. Now, before you say it, he's a great character, so shut your face. Immortal Thor, I really wanted to absolutely love this. It was good. It was good. It wasn't stellar, but it was good. I love seeing Thor back in his original costume, or near enough to his original costume. They've retconned or they've ignored pretty much everything that's happened previously. So now Mjolnir has fixed Odin's not inside the hammer, and they've fixed the Rainbow Bridge in this issue. You get a nice kind of telling of Thor as a character about his love for Asgard and his love for Midgard. And then you get this introduction of this new kind of pantheon of gods. These was it Utgard, I think it was called, which is kind of the alternate Asgard. So you get versions of Loki and you get versions of Thor, which I found really interesting. Now I wasn't. I'm going to kick off in the comments here, like, Ultimate Snow, how dare you? Yawn, how bloody dare you? It was a good read. It was streets ahead of any X book this week. So yeah, I will continue reading it because Thor's one of my favorite characters. Amazing Spider-Man 32. I've done nothing but moan and slag off Spider-Man books for the last few months. And I'm not sure what's happened. I don't know if they've got a new writer or if I'm just getting more acceptable of it and all that kind of stuff. This was actually quite good. So again, starts off with a character I don't know anything about, the Goblin Queen, I think she's called, which is a character who I believe has absorbed all of Green Goblin's sins, which is why he's now a good guy. In this issue, Kraven the Hunter, didn't know if it's even Kraven the Hunter. I thought he was dead. I don't know if this is his son. I think there's some mention of him being a clone or something. God only knows. But anyway, a version of Kraven the Hunter pulls all of the sins of Green Goblin into his spear, and he heads off to stab Norman Osborn and make him become the Green Goblin again. And as you might imagine, unfortunately, he misses and he stabs Peter instead. And now Peter has got all of Norman Osborn's kind of sins and madness in him. It was actually quite interesting. Quite like this. It's got us intrigued to read on. I hate the idea of Norman Osborn being a good guy, so looking forward to him becoming bad again. But I think this leads now into the next kind of little series of Peter being the bad guy. Artwork on this was pretty good. Yeah, it was better than the last few issues of Amazing Spider-Man. I still don't like his new costume with the funny little glowing bits and his spider bot thing and all the rest of it. Jumping to the chat, Fuzzy of the Dunlop. Even Mjolnir doesn't want to be picked up anymore. He's killing us here. Like, they love a goblin. Who doesn't? Who doesn't, mate? Phil, Spidey is up and down in quality. Maybe they need to go back to monthly instead of bi-weekly release. Spend more time building up a better story. Yeah, Phil, I think you're probably right. GP, sounds ridiculous. How dare you, GP, after you've made me read that bullshit turtle book for next week. Yeah, know about that later. And Phil, yeah, he's a clone. Of course he is. Of course he is, Phil. Why wouldn't he be a clone? Couple of quick rapid reviews. Planet of the Apes, concluding this kind of mini series from Marvel, which is set in the continuity of the movies, the recent movies. I've really enjoyed this. This has been an interesting story with some really nice artwork. If you like your Planet of the Apes stuff, it is well worth checking out. I thought it was good. Haunt You to the End, issue number 3. Loved the first issue of this. The setup being basically in the future, the world's gone to shit because of eco issues and all the rest of it. So they've gone to the most haunted island on the planet before it's destroyed to capture video of ghosts and stuff. Issue 1 was great. Issue 2 kind of lost its way a little bit, and I thought, oh, this is ropey. I haven't got a clue what happened in issue 3. I couldn't make head and a tail of it. It just lost its way completely for me. The artwork was awful. I didn't understand what was happening. So yeah, it was disappointing. X-Force 43. Oh, this didn't know what's going on here either. So in this one, Colossus is a bad guy all of a sudden. And again, I didn't read the books back in you know, a year or so ago, but Colossus is a bad guy. He's murdered his girlfriend apparently and buried her on some island. And on this one, he's kind of set X-Force up during the whole Hellfire Gala thing. Quentin comes back and gets a fancy new costume and loses his powers. It was just disappointing. It wasn't that cool, which was disappointing because it's got some great characters in. Deadman, John Romita, pretty good. Nate, I think he's ropey. I think sometimes he's really good, and then other times he doesn't do it for me at all. But this book, I think the artwork was pretty cool. I enjoyed the artwork in this one. Andy liked issue 1 of Haunt You to the End. We reviewed that one. Yeah, we did. But like I say, the first issue I really enjoyed. Maybe I wasn't in the right space when I read this one. I maybe need to read issue 3 again. I will read issue 4 just to see how it's progressing. Okay. Click, click, boom, boom. This is one of Andy's recommendations from a couple of months back. This is, I think, is it 3 or 4 now? Issue 3, I think. I was a bit hesitant of this at the start, but I have to say this is one of my favorite books, which kills us because it means Andy was right. This has been really, 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 really cool. The artwork in it's stunning. I like the action sequences. I love the characters in it. Well worth picking up. I'd probably pick this one up as a trade if you can. Deadman, have to read Haunt 3 again. Thought I understood it. Okay, how about let us know, mate. I just maybe I just skimmed through it too quickly or something. I don't know. It just didn't do it for us. We've got Pat Bear here. Thank you very much. Why are you reading the X-Shine? Might as well throw your money up here. Absolutely, mate. It's cack, utter cack. Andy, KKB is one of the best comics in 2023. So under the radar. Yeah, I would agree, Andy. It's a real interesting read. We've then got The Mighty Barbarians, which was recommended by one of the guys in the comments a little while ago. I've been reading all of this now. I went back and read the first 4 issues a week or 2 ago, and I love it. It's just very easy to read, kind of fantasy barbarians and magicians and things like that fighting it out, and it's great fun. So Merlin's in this issue, and it was an enjoyable read. Loving King Kong, The Great War. This is set during World War II. King Kong doesn't even feature in this book until I think he's in the very, very last panel. This is all about basically the soldiers kind of working their way through Monster Island and meeting the demise in various horrible and vile ways. This is a great little series. Really enjoying this. If you like big monster action and that kind of stuff, it is well worth checking out. It's a good, fun book. Venom. Now, I'm not a massive Venom fan. I know Phil reads a lot of Venom. I picked this up maybe 3 or 4 issues ago when Eddie came back, and I'm really, really enjoying it. This issue, Eddie basically goes to Latveria to try and get on one of Doom's time platforms. And there's just some great interaction between him and Doom when they're sitting down having dinner together and things. Some brilliant Doom bots, which are quite amusing. And then they get this kind of battle between Eddie and Doom. And at the end, they end up going through time. So again, really interesting issue. If you like Venom, well worth picking up. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this as much as I did. So yeah, good fun. Ooh, Big Game. This is interesting. The guys in the Killer Comic Show reviewed this yesterday, so please do go check that out. I'm loving this. This is good fun. I do suffer a little bit from not knowing who some of the characters are. So these guys in the center there are the Cosmonauts, I think, or the Chronauts or something. I'm not familiar with them at all. I love Mark Millar's way of writing in that he kind of sets you up thinking you know who the main characters are going to be and all the rest of it, and then most of them just get killed left, right, and center. The what do you call them? The ambassadors who've been set up for an entire kind of series. yeah, they don't fare so well in this, which I kind of predicted a little while ago because it felt like they were being set up. They might come back, but they might have been clones or something like that. Love Nemesis. He's superb. This is a real interesting book. I would recommend picking this one up if you can. What does Doom eat? He's a big fan of blancmange, fuzzy. Strawberry he prefers, is what I understand. Dead Man, I was told that Romita Jr. was doing the new DD title. Oh, I didn't know that. Thankfully, only the cover. We'll be buying anything but cover A, it seems. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I hadn't heard that one, mate. Okay, right, guys. I am going to give away a set of 5 comics now. I'm going to shamelessly steal this from Rob's Fat Stacks. So we're going to use the same kind of process as he does. So basically, in the comments, guys, because I've nicked it from Rob, we'll have a hashtag to him first. Please put this in the comments, Rob's Fat Stacks, and then we'll see if we can give some comics away. So start popping that in the comments for us, guys. Rob's Fat Stacks. If it doesn't work, we'll do something else. But please do start trying to add in the comment section hashtag Rob's Fat Stacks. What we'll do is I've got a box of comics here, and we'll basically draw out 5 comics. If I've got other people on the show and whatnot, we'll do the whole kind of top, middle, and bottom. Like, what's that from? Strike It Lucky. We're not allowed to talk about him anymore. Anyway, we'll pick some comics out and you'll get whatever you get. This is a box of mixed books. There's variant covers, there's older comics, some newer comics, stuff I'm getting in mystery bags and boxes and all that kind of stuff. And I will obviously ship this anywhere we want. 14 people watching, but only 4 people put the names in. So come on, please. Exactly, Fuzzy. What's a hotspot? Not. So please do put your entries in, and we'll do this in a minute or so. Whilst you are doing that, just to kind of remind you again, please do go and check out the Killer Comic Show and check out the Nerd Herd and all the UK live stream content. And please do go check out the video I did with my pal Efren. Just the other day, because it is superb, the video me and Efren did together. That's a bit kind of egotistical, isn't it? It's a very good video because I was in it. Efren does some amazing content, so please do check him out. Okay, guys, giving you a few seconds there. Let's do this draw. I'm very keen to do it for you guys, because you guys are the people who support the channel the most. So let's have a look-see and do the little draw thingy. And our winner is Dead Man. I said Fuzzy. Dead Man, well done, bud. So congratulations. Drop me your address, Dead Man, and we'll send you some books. So like I say, I've got a stack here. We'll pick your 5 books out and we'll see what we'll get. We'll start with that one. What's that? Oh, Radio Apocalypse by Ram V. Not sure if you've read that one, Dead Man. Really, really cool book. Ram V is an incredible guy. I'm not sure what issue this is up to now, but yeah, a nice book. So we'll send that one to you. So that's number 1. We'll go for that. That's a load of shit. No, it's not. It's a good book. It's X-Force number 1, the gold foil edition from back in the day. Bit of good old Rob Liefeld. Good. Look at them shoulder pads. Look at that. Look at Boom Boom. Do like a bit of Boom Boom. So yeah, so we'll send you that one. Next, we'll go a little bit further. Oh, ENIAC number 1 by Bad Idea. Not sure if Bad Idea are still going, but yeah, that's an interesting read. Next, we'll go there. Infinity Abyss number 1 by Starlin. Haven't read that one, so no, can't tell you about that one. And we'll go there. Oh, DC Pride from a little while ago. So yeah. So drop us a message, Dead Man. I'll send you them. You'll also get a pack of cards, because I've discovered I've got 4 packs left. Not sure how, but I'll send you a pack of cards as well for the DC card box. So like I say, drop us your I know you've got my messages and whatnot, so drop us that and we'll send those books out to you. And I'll be doing that every week on this show, guys. So I've got a short box here full of books. There are some decent books in there. Second appearance of Werewolf by Night, things like that. So there's a good chance you'll get some decent covers and decent books. Okay, Andy, everybody would love a rummage. Peter's get absolutely made. Oh, what's it? Nice of you to join. Thank you very much, bud. Okay. Personally sniffed every one of those comics. I absolutely have. You're right. You're right. Okay, let's carry on with some more comic reviews. Now, I thought this would be a load of old bollocks. I really did. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Stranger Things. I love both properties, but I do hate forced crossovers. I'm not normally a big fan of those. But this is bloody brilliant. I'm really, really enjoying this. Let us know in the comments if you've read any of this so far. But I'm enjoying the interaction between the turtles and the kids from Stranger Things. This issue has some great action. There's some absolutely stunning imagery of the turtles in particular in battle and things like that. It's just very, very cool. I've stretched that image out a bit, but it just looks amazing. I love the artwork in this. Now, GP Venom, I know you're still watching. Look at those turtles. Look at Raphael there. That's how a turtle should be drawn, not that bullshit we're going to be reviewing on your channel on Tuesday. Can't even remember what it's called. Bloodbath? I can't remember. Tell me in the comments what the book's called we're reviewing on Tuesday, but it's awful. But yeah, this is really cool. Enjoyed this. Fuzzy, enjoyed issue 1. Never read the last issue. Yeah, it's worth picking up, mate. It is good fun. Dead Man loved issue 1 as well. Good stuff. And GP issue 1 was fun. Yeah. Yeah, the way they meet isn't contrived either. Absolutely. I mean, it's bollocks, isn't it? It really is. But you know, it's a good read, and I can't blame you, GP. It's your show, mate. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles body count. Yeah, make sure you read that ready for our GP show next week. It's yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, recommend that one. Stranger Things Turtles. Interestingly, and I can't get the logic of this, but anyway, before the book came out, I noticed they were selling the action figure 2-packs, so you can get the turtles with the Stranger Things characters as action figures, which is interesting. But yeah, I haven't picked any of those up yet. Oh, I love Ice Cream Man. This is probably one of my favorite anthology series. It's been going a long time now. This is the story of Ice Cream Man, obviously. It's just so interesting because every issue's got a different kind of theme, a different take. This one's a kind of a telling of Moby Dick, I guess you'd call it. Basically a seaman. He's seaman. Basically a seafaring gentleman has lost his daughter. His daughter was swallowed by a whale. So he heads off every day with a bucket of chum to try and entice the whale so he can go into the belly of the whale and free his daughter. And this is the story of him basically getting finally what he wished for, getting inside the whale's gut, and then inside the whale he encounters Pinocchio there and the Ice Cream Man, and obviously it doesn't turn out quite as well as he had hoped, but it's a lovely story. I really enjoyed this. If you're not reading Ice Cream Man and you do like your strange horror and stuff like that, I really do recommend picking up one of the trade paperbacks and just having a flick through, because it's just interesting. It's a book that keeps you guessing, and I love an anthology kind of book. So yeah, well worth checking that one out. Hello, my friend. Thank you very much for joining. So yeah, it's well worth checking that one out if you like your strange tales. I wouldn't even call it horror at this point because each tale is just a little bit different. Yeah, it did, Fuzzy. I think it disappeared for a little while, to be honest. I've only really realized it come back recently. That and Silver Coin. I used to really enjoy Silver Coin. Again, the Killer Comic Show got us into that book, but that's taken a break. And that's a good book as well. Okay. Scrapper. Yeah, Scrapper. This is an image book about a dog that's got a kind of a harness, a collar that's got special powers and weapons come out of it and guns and all that kind of stuff. This should be absolutely ridiculous. So in this issue, the dog's family was killed last issue. It's running away now from these people who are trying to capture it because of the collar. He goes and sees the Rat King, as you can see in the middle there. He gets some friendly pigeons to crap on people who are chasing him. It sounds ridiculous, but it's absolutely superb. I'm really enjoying it. It's a silly, simple read. It's easy to flick through, and it's just fun. It's what comics should be. It's just a bit of a fun read. So I would recommend that one. I'd also recommend Strays, which is out in the cinema at the moment, if you like vulgar, stupid, childlike humour. I went to see that the other day and I laughed all the way through it. It's a great movie. Andy, you're reading Swan Songs? Yeah, I am, mate. It's absolutely superb. I know I was a little bit doubtful of issue 1. I absolutely loved issue 2 with the kind of the breakdown of the marriage. I thought that was a beautiful story, and really, really well written, and the art was stunning. So yeah, good story. So yeah, Scrapper is pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Yeah, is it Jeff Lemire that's doing Tenement? I think we're in 4 issues, and I still don't know what the hell's going on. This is the kind of book that does my head in, because each issue I get to the end of it and I think, I don't know if I've missed stuff completely and it's just not making sense to us. Basically, this is a story of a group of people who are in a building, and at some point, or for some reason, I don't know why, it's been shunted into like a different dimension or something. So in this issue, they're walking down the stairs and they're encountering kind of different creatures on the level below them. It's just a bit hard on my old brain. I think this is probably going to be a book that I want to pick up in trade paperback format, because it's not helping reading month by month. I'm forgetting what's gone on the last kind of couple of issues, or I'm not following it. I did that with Gideon Falls and thoroughly enjoyed Gideon Falls. I think this is probably going to be very much in the similar kind of vein. And I need to read this all in one go, because it's I don't know what's happening. Andy, I felt quite stupid after reading this. Yes, I'm glad I wasn't alone, mate. Glad I wasn't alone. I just didn't know what was happening. So yeah, it's a one I will read, I think, when it's complete, so I can get the full story. But month to month isn't doing it for us. Okay, last book I want to talk about. Now, we were talking on Ephraim's channel the other day about how easy it is to scan past books these days, because there's that many on the shelf that it's easy to miss kind of what's out. I completely missed Ribbon Queen. So issue 2 is out now, and I'm going to mention that briefly in the end here. But I'd missed Ribbon Queen. I saw the cover to issue 2 and thought, ooh, that's a bit of me. So I had a little look-see at that, and fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite stories by Garth Ennis. Issue 1, the interaction basically between this police officer and a detective is superb. I love the kind of conversation between them. He's basically saying to her, don't shut the door, because if you shut the door, it means that it's all going to kick off. The background to it is basically there was a murder, a serial killer, a couple of years back, where they caught the serial killer just before he murdered a young girl. Now, this young girl is a year later, and she's been found dead. And this detective thinks that basically one of the officers who'd rescued her is the murderer. So it sets it up very much like a police kind of investigation. The majority of the issue is all about kind of this police investigation, this accusation of guilt against the other officer. So I honestly felt, because I don't know anything about this book, that's what it was going to be. And then all of a sudden at the end, it gets friggin' nuts. There's a mention at one point of this young girl saying she needs to speak to the Queen. And then it turns out that the Queen is this, whatever it is, we don't know yet, this thing called the Ribbon Queen. Now, Garth Ennis does a nice kind of explanation at the back of the book, and you'll probably have heard the phrase, or know the phrase, cut to ribbons. You know, if you, my parents used to say it to us, you know, careful, don't touch that, you'll cut yourself to ribbons. And that's the premise of this book. So at the end of the book, all of a sudden, this cop who's been accused of murdering her, he unravels in front of his family, and it's horrific. So his 2 kids and wife are sat watching this, as you can see, and his skin basically just turns to ribbons and starts flying off him. And it's one of the most horrific comic scenes I've seen, but I loved it. I was absolutely there for it. And you can see at the end that he's basically begging her to kill him, because he's alive as this is happening. It's grotesque. So that was issue 1, which was absolutely tremendous. Issue 2 we'll kind of pick up on that afterwards. I'm not going to spoil it because I know there's a couple of guys in the chat who haven't read it yet, but it continues of the same vein. You'll see the issue 2 cover there, which is what got me intrigued. I thought, oh, that looks interesting, which is why I went back and read it. This is really up my street. It's gory, it's bloody. I loved it. Okay, jumping back to the comments here. Fuzzy, that's Jeff Lemire's calling card though, right? I've heard really weird reviews. Yeah, that's about the Tenement. Yeah, absolutely Fuzzy. He always kind of writes weird stuff. Deadman, AWA Rule. I'm going to agree with you, mate. A lot of my favourite books at the moment are AWA. I think they are absolutely killing it. Andy, yes, this was my last indie recommended on Killer Comic Show. It's great. It's tremendous, mate. And I'm pleased I went into it. I'm sorry, I've spoiled it for everybody. I'm pleased I went into it thinking it was just a crime story, which is, you know, the shock was quite good. I like that. Ribbon Clean was a slow burn, but paid off in the end. Yeah, it was, mate, but I loved the interaction between the police officers. I quite like that kind of story. Issue 1, you mean? Yeah. Ephraim, you mentioned Ribbon Queen to read yesterday. It's on my list. Ephraim, you'll not sleep reading this, mate. You'll not sleep. It's pure Garth Ennis. Yeah, I've not read a lot of Garth Ennis work, I don't think, to be honest. I'm here, Andy. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even know I said that. Never mind. Pat Bear, think I'm going to have to pick up Ribbon Queen. It looks great. It is, but it's a stunning book. If you like that kind of storytelling, which I absolutely do, and it gets, I'm not going to spoil it for people, but it gets spookier as this issue goes on in terms of what is the Ribbon Queen and what the hell's happening here. It's definitely got me hooked. Okay, ladies and gents, that's your whack. Thank you so much for joining. We've got 16, 17 people watching. I really do appreciate that. Please do hit that like and subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel already. That's all my contact details there. If anybody wants to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Tick Over the Talk, whatever, I don't know, and all that stuff. And my email's there if anybody wants to drop us an email. Please do head over now. We'll probably go live at 9 o'clock over onto the Attention Seeking Geeks channel, where we're doing a completely unplanned and impromptu Halloween hype show. I've got no clue what we're talking about, so it should be interesting. Looking forward to that. And then tomorrow night over on my channel at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be doing This Is My with Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics. Cannot wait to do that. That's going to be interesting. Rob will no doubt be showing off some stunning stuff. And speaking of This Is My, I put a post out recently on Instagram. If anybody's interested in doing an episode of This Is My with us, please do drop us a line on Insta. I've got about 15 people who've said they want to do it, but I'm always looking for more. So please do let us know if you can do one of those shows. Andy, it would be good to get you on, mate. And then on Monday, we're doing our Art Attack show. Really looking forward to that. X-Men related. And as I said, we've got a bit of a guest artist coming on that, a proper bona fide comic book artist. So that is going to be good fun. Okay, that is your whack. Quickly jump to the comments before we move on. Andy, awesome show. Thank you very much. Fuzzy, TikTok, behave, man. Oh, I'm one step away, Fuzzy, from doing like dance videos and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll be doing that soon. It's not Halloween, sorry. I think for Ben, it's Halloween all year round. So, you know, we'll be talking all things spooky, I'm sure. I need to sort out that This Is My. Absolutely, Andy. Yeah, speak to my agent and we'll get you booked in, bud. But I'd love to have you on. Love to have you on. And we've got Ephraim next Monday, Art Attack show. Can't wait. Yeah, it's going to be fun, mate. It's going to be very, very fun. Fuzzy, 15 dodgy guests. Absolutely, mate. And Andy, This Is My Jock comic. This is my other Jock. Yeah, absolutely. But they're always stunning, I'm sure, Andy. You can tell a little story about each of them, I'm sure. Okay, listen, thank you very much, ladies and gents. Really do appreciate you stopping by tonight. I do hope in future we'll have somebody on the screen for us to talk with as well. So hopefully some of the guys will help us out on this show. I hope you don't mind me just prattling on me lonesome. I do appreciate you watching. And we'll see you over on Ben's channel, hopefully, in about 10 minutes. So thanks very much. We'll catch you next time. Take care. Bye.